Today, we are finally going to be putting a USB-C port in a DS Lite. I feel like I've done this before, maybe on stream, maybe in a video somewhere, but I don't think I've actually done it on the second channel before. And I definitely know that I have not done it in this USB-C everything series. And with this series that I've been doing, I've been typically buying USB-C mods from Giltessa, and those will have power delivery and all that stuff. This is a much simpler mod, even though this would already be a very simple mod if you did the Giltessa version, but this is a much cheaper version of doing it, even though, again, those are also pretty cheap already. But this is how I used to USB-C the macros or the DS lights that I got in, was with one of these little two-prong USB-C ports. It is literally just positive and negative, and then the other two are for grounding stability reasons. It's very dead simple, and that's what we're going to do today. Like, even the USB-C port in this DS Pico has more pins on its USB-C port. Yeah, it's like a full USB-C port. It's what I have on hand right now. I would like to have one that has USB-C power delivery. Like, obviously, it's not going to charge any faster with power delivery, but that way I don't have to worry about which cable or which brick I use with charging this. It would be nice because USB-C doesn't make it perfect. But either way, I have just a basic USB-C to USB-A cable that's plugged into my lamp, which has a like 1 amp 5-volt USB port in it anyways. So that's probably where I'm going to charge this thing. And if you haven't watched, hopefully, my most recent main channel video, I put IPS screens on this Nintendo DS, and it sucks battery life like crazy. I need to reset it up. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take the battery out anyways. One thing that kind of sucks about the DS Lite, if you take the battery out like that, all of your menu data is erased. So I'll have to re-add my name, birthday, and favorite color, all that stuff, which isn't that big of a deal. It's really quick. It's like 5 steps. But anyways, I'm going to disassemble this. There are 2 Phillips heads here. There are 2 more here. And then we can swap to a tri-wing bit for this one here, and then these 3 in the corners. And then we can get our thumbnail underneath there to pop those 2 tabs free. And we should be able to just pop the rest of this off. There we go. And some of the screws like to stay in the back half of the shell, and I just like to pop them out. Then we can pop the L and R buttons off, and the pins will fly out because L and R buttons are annoying on the DS Lite. And then there's one more little Phillips head that we can get to, which is right here on the motherboard. There are only 2 motherboard screws for this guy, and one of them we're able to take out before we even take off the back half. That was this one right here. Now we should be able to lift the motherboard, and since I have an IPS screen in here, I'm going to carefully lift up the IPS screen with this. And then I am actually going to unplug the top screen and the bottom screen here. I'd like to do this with removing as little stuff as possible, but I think it's going to be better if I just remove it all, unfortunately. Okay, I'm going to unplug this ribbon cable for the touch screen. You know what? I think I can live with the board being separated like this. If you want to unplug everything else, you can. I'm not going to because I'm going to be lazy, and it's really annoying to fully remove those cables to then put them back on. So this is how I'm going to do it. Deal with it. We can zoom in a bit here. Not too much though. And I'm going to turn on my iron to 330C. I'm going to get some flux on all of these pads here. And I'm going to put my tweezers within the charge port like that. And then I'm going to push down on the tweezers and on the far side of the board. So then when we're heating up all of these pads, the charge port wants to remove itself, hopefully, and just going around heating up all those pads, those pins, until the charge port has removed itself, just like that. Then I'm going to take some solder wick, some goot wick, and just remove all of the remaining solder. So I should probably clean my iron. It was nice and dirty. So go through and remove all that remaining solder. And then I'm going to flip the board over. And again, be careful of the wire if you choose to keep it in like me. But I'm going to take the 2-pin USB-C port. I'm going to flatten these pins out like that. Then once these are flattened out, I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to do like a 90-degree bend about halfway through on both of those. Something like that. Might be a little hard to see, like that. Then I'm going to stick these 2 pins into these 2 holes here for the positive and negative lines. And then I'm going to try to get the 2 side posts into the 2 far holes, the holes closest to the edge of the board. Have it all in there just like that. And we can flip this bad boy over and we can add solder back to all of those points. Doesn't really matter if you add solder to these 2 points because there's nothing there, but the other ones, it definitely matters. Then there isn't a ton of trimming we need to do. The ports are about the same size, but there's 2 little points on this half of the shell that I'm going to just flush cut off. And I believe it's been a long time, but I believe that's all we have to do for this one. So I'm going to put my Kapton tape back over the top of that. And then I'm going to plug everything back in that I just removed. Okay. Pain in the butt to reroute all of that, but got it. So I'm going to screw these 2 screws down, effectively locking everything into place. And just as a quick test, I'm going to make sure that this still boots up because these ribbon cables are hard to fully plug in. Cool. They are both showing up and touchpad works. Guess I could also try to see if charge light flashed on, so I soldered it well, well enough. But we can go ahead and put our LNR buttons back on, and I think I'll just zoom through putting everything back together because it's pretty simple to just put this back the way we took it apart. And now I can re-type in all my information. No, that's not today's date. Unfortunately, we are no longer in the year 2000. All right. But we can close this. And I thought that the light, oh, okay, goes back to green because it's not drawing as much power anymore. But in theory, we should be able to plug this in and it charges. Look at that. Again, this USB-C port does not support anything fancy. You should not charge it at any higher of voltage or amperage than the original DS Lite power supply does. And I do not know what the stats are for the DS Lite charger. I'll put it on screen now so you know you should not charge it at a higher rate than this. And it'll probably only work with USB-C to USB-A cables. But it's USB-C. And now when I play this and it inevitably dies 2 hours into my play session, I can just plug it into my little USB cable that's in my lamp that's next to my bed. And look at that. I don't even think we really needed to trim those pieces down. There's so much room in there. It's like a perfect cutout for it. It is like USB-C was designed around the DS Lite charge port. I'm going to go with that version of history. That was the specifications for designing it.